Welcome. You have opened the hatch with your listening device. Inside is another dimension. A dimension of weightlessness, a dimension of new sights, new sounds, new experiences. A dimension of total zen. You have entered the Deco Chamber.
Failure is not an option.
Master at Arms, take that man below and clap him in irons.
Mr. Emmett, take her down. Make your depth 150 feet, 10 degree down, Bubba.
150 feet, 10 degree down, Bubba. Aye, sir.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Here in the Deco Chamber, we are non-denominational about diving. We will talk about everything from floating in the pool to technical diving and everything before, during, and after. Feel free to send us your stories, anecdotes, or anything you would like to hear discussed. This episode is brought to you by the following sponsors. The law offices of Eric J. Durga for all your legal needs at ejdirga.com. Northwind Training for the best in personal enrichment training, northwindtraining.com. Wise Move Home Inspection. For all your South Florida home inspection needs, we've got you covered. wisemovehomeinspection.com. And Tim's Undersea Adventures, where you learn to scuba dive and your adventure begins. timsunderseaadventures.com.
Please note, we are not a scuba diving training facility. Diving is a serious sport that contains risks. It can be a lot of fun, but it can also kill you. Scuba diving places human beings in an environment they are not adapted to. Proper training and equipment are necessities to dive. Our discussions are meant to share diving experiences. None of our discussions should be considered scuba diver training. Our discussions will not qualify anyone to try anything we have discussed. You must be certified to dive and experienced. If you are, have fun. If you are not, get certified before you dive and then dive with a buddy. A lot. Experience everything you learn and do not rush your training. Do not dive outside your comfort zone or limits of your training or try anything we talk about. The opinions presented here are those of the hosts and guests. They are not necessarily those of any sponsor or advertiser.
So let's secure the hatch, begin equalizing, pressurize the chamber, and have some fun.
One thing, since I've taken the cavern course and getting into the cave intro part of it and learning more about reels and stuff like that, which is what we use for our safety sausages when we deploy them at our safety stop. And the new fin that I think all of us kind of agree on that we really like is the Hollis fins. And one thing that I really never thought of until I've been getting into this, what really makes them another big plus for them, is the fact that the springs here, if you notice, there's no catching points. If anything comes in here, it can just roll off. Whereas many of the other types of fins that I won't say do have catching points and things that a line can get hooked on. Especially some of the recreational rubber clipped fins. Line gets wrapped in there very easily and it could help pull you to the surface. Right? So, but these Hollis fins I love them. I swear they go on like butter. Just real easy. They have metal springs, stainless steel springs, and just come on and off very easily. I don't know, what's your guys' experience with these Hollis fins? What do you think?
Well, I first saw them when I was doing my side mount instructor course, and I didn't get a chance to try them out there, but they looked really good. And then after you had them out there 45 Grotto that day, I pretty much bought them right after that. But yeah, it's a great set of fins. I've always been a big fan of a big, wide, stiff set of fins as opposed to split fins or something softer than that, especially for pushing me and a full tech rig through the water. But yeah, there's the easiest fin I've ever had come on and off. It's got a huge foot pocket, and the spring straps and everything is big about it. The one thing, if it has a drawback that I noticed, is the foot pocket is so big I had to actually go out and buy a new set of wetsuit booties. They fit over my dry suit fine, but they were a little sloppy in the toe, so I had to go out and spend a little more money on a better set of wetsuit boots. But other than that, they're probably the best fit I've had.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, you know, I've got like 2 dry suits, and I have to have a different size fin for each one of my dry suits as well as my recreational. So that's
brings up a good point, because what we're trying to do is talk more on the technical side of things, and one of the things I think, if anybody's interested in getting into technical diving, is the cost. It's definitely a cost. You got to definitely be into it, and
for sure. You know, I love tech diving. You know, I'm TDI certified up to advanced trimix. And same with Jerry, and Eric here is moving along in our direction.
Me and Carl, we're almost there.
Yep.
One more step before we make the next steps.
Carl's got 1 1/4.
Right.
Yeah.
Still hadn't finished yet.
Oh yeah. But it's a wonderful sport. But as you said, it is, you know, instead of 1 regulator, you need about 5 regulators, right? Instead of 1 tank, you need about 5 tanks at different sizes.
Instead of 1 closet, you need a closet and a garage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like here at my house, you know, I've got half the garage goes to my wife and her car. The other half goes directly to my dive gear, and it is my workshop / dive shop.
Exactly. I actually had to get a private storage unit. That's where I've got most all of my dive gear, except for my high-end tech stuff. I keep that in my house just to keep it more climate controlled. But yeah, I think eventually, if you want to spend money, this is one of the sports to get into right here.
For sure.
And I leave my doubles here with Tim.
Don't fit in that condo, do they?
No, I'll be getting it. there. I've got to get a dolly for
Alexander and DeLeon, or any place fun?
Yeah, well, just Alexander and DeLeon. There was a couple of days where I tried to go out to the ocean to do a few dives, but you know, it is winter time, and the seas were starting off between 7 to 10 feet. And so it's just been way too rough to get out in the ocean and have any fun. But I have been going to some springs at least to get wet, right? So to me, you know, you got to get in the water, you got to have fun, you got to train, you got to teach, you got to keep active. Just like any sport, if you don't do it for a few months, you lose more than you realize, and next time you get out there, you're going to be a little bit more uncomfortable.
Then you get to figure out, because I've been diving in the winter, and it's been rough. A year later, same time, same period of time, set glass. So it's
very unpredictable, right? You know, pretty much, you know, got the winds coming from the northeast during the wintertime, it's going to be rough on the east coast, right? Got winds coming from the northwest, it's going to be rough on the Gulf side. So it's just, you know, the luck of the draw, and however that jet stream settles over our state.
But it's like, you know, no matter where you are, you can find some place to dive. You know, here in Florida, we're pretty lucky. You know, the weather is usually pretty warm. If the seas are rough, we can go to the springs or lakes. As I listen to some other, you know, podcasts that are out there, and guys up north, right, they're still diving right now, middle of January, in rivers, 8 feet of water, because they want to go get wet. That's hardcore, but I understand that.
Yeah, I know.
It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, we've been getting quite a few people from Michigan, Indiana, from Canada, all coming down to do their open water dives. And here it is, Florida in January. It's 65 degrees outside right now, Fahrenheit. And, you know, to us that seems a little cool, because, you know, we're used to the 90 to 100 degrees during the summertime. But, you know, our winter time is warmer than their summer times, right?
Exactly.
In many cases.
Well, we won't tell them about breaking out the wets or the dry suits in 72-degree water or anything like that.
Yeah, let's hear for the northern, you know, rock quarries.
Exactly. Which, you know, having grown up in the Midwest, dove many rock quarries myself, and when it's time to get wet, it's time to get wet. That's all there is to it.
Yes, yes. I know.
Speaking of dry suits, did you ever get your dive rag?
Actually, it's we've got to switch the booties and get new seals. So he's already, it doesn't leak. He's got his, but his boots are too small. mine are too big, so we're gonna switch those.
Go.
Speaking of, we were talking about weather and stuff. I started thinking about the Keys because last time, well, about a year ago, that was November of last year. I went to the Keys and it was rough the first day, and then it calmed down. We got good dives in, but the one thing I think about when I think about the Keys is the wrecks. And I was just wondering, what's your favorite wreck down in the Keys?
Well, my personal favorite is the Eagle. And it's not a great wreck, but I've dove it probably 24 times and never had a bad dive on it. I know some of you were you telling me you had a bad dive on
No.
it? No,
Never.
No. What was down there?
We went down in 09, and the dive master said, "Oh, it's real rough." So everybody left their cameras, and it's never had a current on it that I've ever had.
But yeah, it's nothing spectacular. But probably 90% of the time that I've dove it, you can stand on the boat, look down at 90 feet of water, and see the entire wreck from there.
I think the one that I've had the worst experience on was at Duane, which has a ripping current. The last time I went to the Duane, it was no current at all.
And with the Duane, I think the Spiegel Grove is like roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Where's that jet stream going to be today? Or Gulf Stream, sorry.
But the thing about, and I was going to say my favorite wreck so far is the Spiegel Grove because it's so big. Even if there's a current, if you can fight your way down to it, you can find something to hide.
Have you gone down on the Spiegel Grove with doubles on your back?
Not yet. No.
In a current.
We can tell you about that one.
Well, like the Spiegel, I went to the Key. Well, I lived in the Keys for 2 years when I got out of college. I went down to the Keys specifically to dive the Spiegel probably 6 times since then, and so far I have seen the Spiegel Grove 1 time. Every time else, blown off of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had horrendous luck with that wreck.
Oh, man.
And one time we did get down, it was barely, we're literally heading for the sand, hand over hand, down the side of the wreck, trying to keep contact with it.
Yeah, going down the line, we're holding on to the line going down, fist over fist over fist, and with the current pushing against our face, our regulators free flowing as we go down.
Yeah, it depends also on what line you're going down on too.
And them little tiny feet.
Well, it's not what's inside the package, it's the dry suit that matters.
A lot of people do have to compensate for shortcomings. If it's your fins, I guess that's most people buy a motorcycle or something.
Oh, that's true. So what does it say about the free divers with them 9-foot long fins?
Well, hey. They have.
Talking about today?
Okay, we are talking about going on the water in DecoChamber. Is good about trucks, but don't touch one. If you see my guy, get a speed gun for free. It's good to get right.
That's right. So when we go scuba diving, we never want to touch sharks. It's very important because they might turn around and bite us. But don't be afraid of sharks because as long as you don't touch them, chase them, or harass them in any way, they usually keep to themselves. What do you think, Hunter? Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, and never attack a shark because they'll turn around and they'll see you and bite you on the finger.
That's right. So never touch them. Now let's talk about stingrays. Stingrays are pretty cool, but they have little stingers at the base of their tail. So it's a completely defensive attack when they use their stinger. So basically, if you step on them or grab them, or if they feel threatened in any way, they'll take that tail and they'll swing it around and put that little stinger right inside you. And that hurts. Right, Hunter?
Yeah. And never touch a stingray. It must turn around and sting you because it might kill you in the face too.
That's right. It could sting you in the face, so it's very important. Now, Hunter, what should we do if we get a jellyfish sting?